All right, so today there's not that much on the agenda, actually just one topic, but we can of course talk about other things as well. I sent a link in the chat. This one topic was about a PR on Flux about embedding that Manika has worked on, and that's been sitting stale for a while. I think there was some issue with output size and how that's handled to the embedding layer. Manika, can you give a quick summary of what the problem was?
Yeah, so I think the issue, from what I remember, it's been a while. So I think the issue was with how we wanted output size to treat the one hot arrays and like the normal arrays. And I think there was some problem with when we wanted one hot arrays to pass through that as well. And yeah, I think that was kind of the problem that you were facing at that time. And it wasn't really working well with the nil type, I think.
Right. Was it, I mean, I just tried to catch up on it a little bit just now. Was it the ambiguity between vectors of bools and vectors of integers, which are both numbers?
Yeah, that as well. Yeah. And basically like how you would get the output size for like a normal matrix, not considering the one hot ones. And when you were considering the one hot matrix as well, there was just a difference between those two, and we wanted like a good way to treat this scenario, basically.
Yeah. So have you tried it on the latest Flux? Kyle pointed me to one other PR where I think Michael changed the abstract type, like supertype of nil, to be a real instead of a number. Saying that might help.
Okay, I haven't actually tried it with that.
Yeah.
On the latest Flux, I think.
Yeah. So I guess embedding is a bit of a special layer in that it doesn't just transform functions. So if that doesn't work with that PR, then we may need to make a custom output size rule.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But
try to start with this.
I guess you can check if it works on the rebased PR.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle is writing now. I think the issue is that X passed in could be a vector or matrix, and the vector case is indexing. So it's ambiguous what nil means, I suppose.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of difficult to, because like the layer kind of behaves differently for both these scenarios.
If you, what is the most common one?
I don't actually know what the most common one would be. I mean, it just depends on the implementation, maybe. I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. And then Kyle's writing that output size doesn't behave well with index operation. I guess, yeah, we would want to avoid having a one hot nil array or something. That said, actually, is it possible to have a one hot vector with subtype nil instead of bool? Probably not, right? It's probably not parametric. Just looking up if you can find the definition. So one hot. Okay, so Flux one hot array has a type parameter, but I'm not sure if that's probably the represented element and not the actual storage type. Okay. Yeah, so maybe we'll have to do the manual output size rule. That's let's try that if it doesn't work by rebasing. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll rebase and try it out. Kyle, do you think there could be, Kyle, do you think if there could be any problem after the PR which Michael made with the current implementation, if you're here?
Sorry, was that for Kyle?
Yeah, like I wanted to, I think he was suggesting something that there could be a problem.
Okay, he thinks the PR will only help hit the right path. But I guess let's try it out and do a custom rule if it doesn't work at all. I think, like from my point of view, I think it is fine to have a custom rule in this case, since it's some unusual indexing behavior, and then that can live with the layer. Okay, then there was actually the only topic on the minutes on the agenda. I wanted to share one more thing, which is some more progress on the documentation system that I also did a demo on end of last year, and made some updates, and I'm getting a bit closer to having it actually be usable for some packages, and I'll try it out for Flux training and dataloaders.jl then.
Hi guys.
Hey Carlo. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yep.
So Carlo was just saying, giving an update on the documentation system I've been working on. This is basically the regular view, which behaves a lot like.
Published.
No,
published
this is like a custom thing that I've been working on.
Okay.
And then there's this multi-column view where you can click through and it kind of stacks up. You can go through the symbols. You can go to the source code and kind of click through. Makes it quite nice to navigate. And now there's also this this menu bar where you can click on things, you can close them, which a lot of people said that they wanted to be able to close them. So you can do that now. And also very important, you can see this is kind of the interactive viewer with multiple columns, and sure, you can take a link, it's updated, you can share it, but for the documentation and something that search engines can index, it's very important to have a pre-rendered path. So this is kind of the basic just single page view where you always have one page, and then if you have a large screen, you can open this up in the interactive thing where you can page through. Also very important, something that the current system that FastAI.jl, for example, is using does not support very well is mobile support. So now if I have this page open and oops, and I make this smaller, you can see that we have this menu here now. We can still search basically instantly. Can show all the pages. Yeah. And if you're in the interactive viewer and you want to open a link that you got there on mobile, then it will tell you to go to the regular setup because you won't have enough screen real estate to open that. So yeah, I still have to get the templates for GitHub Actions and everything ready, and then I'll roll it out to dataloaders.jl and probably fluxtraining.jl first. Get some feedback on how it's working for people, and then probably expand it to FastAI.jl and yeah, make it possible or make it easier for other people to use it as well if they're interested. So just quick demo. Brian asked in the chat, is the input format the same as publish.jl or is it custom? The input format is the same as publish.jl. So there's some very minor differences, but what I just showed, I was generating from the same source that is currently using the publish format. Might even add documenter.jl format in the future because it's the most used. And Brian wrote structured search. Do you mean structured as in you can do queries? So one thing about about this search is that it's using a pre-built index that's just downloaded when you click on the search field, and it's much faster than what's in like the Julia manual and Documenter too, I think. You can even do like star search and regular expressions, I think. Yeah, to get around quickly. Any other thoughts? All right, then if anybody else has a topic. Ship it, yeah. I'm trying. Okay, Kai raised another topic. mlutils.jl. Right. So I think we haven't really talked about this yet. mlutils.jl. I'll just look up the link and share it in the chat. Is a new package that is kind of consolidating functionality from ML data pattern, ML data utils, data loaders.jl, and kind of cleaning things up, cutting out some craft.
Is it depend on them or is it subsuming them or what?
It's subsuming them. So
all those are going to be deprecated?
Yeah.
Yep. That's the idea.
Yeah. So
cool.
Carlo's been working more on it than me. If you
Yeah, I
want
mean,
to say
basically I'm
something
just
about it.
moving stuff around. So like learn base, ML data utils, ML data pattern, ML label utils, all of those are going to be deprecated. We are also bringing in the data loaders package from Lawrence. Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, there is a question, yeah, about the naming. If we want to name it ML, okay, keep the name ML utils or have ML base, which is already an existing package, but I mean the guys it's in the stats Julia stats org, but they say they could give us ownership of the package if we want to use the ML base name, because it's some obsolete package no one is depending on, so we can actually redo entirely the package, just publish tag a new breaking release. So we just have to choose whether to stick with ML utils or go with ML base. I really don't know. Feels like a little bit more of a utils package since we have also data loaders and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe base is often just the like interface definitions, but we'll see.
So Daria just posted a link to data parallelism for data pipelines for large models. So actually, before, I'm not sure, maybe he wants to elaborate on that. But I do have a question about ML util. So do we have pipeline parallelism? Like, will it work with Dagger or something like that? Where are we at?
What do you mean with pipeline parallelism? Like what pipeline? Data loading?
Sorry, yeah, data loading and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dataloaders.jl basically does all the parallelism. You can the way it works is just you pass in a data container of everything. Could be a container of batches, and then it loads those like on in parallel on various threads. It also supports like doing all of this in place and copying it into slices of a collated batch. Something I'm actually not yet automatically doing in FastAI.jl, but that I have done for some other projects that can really speed up the data pipeline. So it is parallelized, that's the most important part, but it also supports in-place operations using GetOps, Bang, which it's actually a bit involved it was a bit involved to get that working, but actually works pretty well. I think we need to document it better.
Oh, cool. And it looks like I used pipeline parallelism incorrectly. According to
yeah, I think that that's not what I think Dario wanted to talk about. So yeah, Dario shared a weights and biases link. Dario, do you want to talk about it?
Well, really quickly, it's basically doing the training for whatever ResNets, VGGs, etc., etc., etc. That's going on right now. If anyone wants to keep track of, where it is, you're welcome to. Oh, fun! It doesn't show you the report that I had, but yeah, I'm tracking, accuracies and loss for a bunch of the training runs that are going on. Is this based on ResNet ImageNet? Yes. So there's two versions. One is a Dagger Flux based version, and one is that DDP version. This specific one is a ResNet 34. That is using ResNet ImageNet, but some of the bigger models are using Dagger Flux directly.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yep. So this is training on ImageNet.
Correct.
And those weights will be in Metalhead? Is that
yeah.
planned?
We have, I think we have 4 or 5 models done at this point, at this moment. Sorry, I keep deleting the runs because otherwise it's very annoying to keep track of all of them.
Right.
But yeah, the idea is, so we have the models themselves. Of course, you can just pull the weights out or chuck it in an HDF5 and make those available through Metalhead. Yep.
Very cool. Excited to have those pre-trained weights. Okay, let's just wait for any more comments or questions or other topics.
Maybe I want to ask like a short summary of what's going on between like optimizers.jl and functors. So I mean, because there is a flurry of work by maybe Michael mostly, and yeah, just wanted to know if, I don't know, if Kyle, Brian can update on the status of what's going on.
Okay, maybe Brian can't unmute. I'll make it quick because I'm sitting in public right now.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're basically doing right now is trying to figure out how we want to handle tied weights, like shared weights. If you have a encoder decoder and you want the decoder weights to be the transpose of the encoder, how we deal with cases like that, or cases like needing to gradually freeze some of the layers during training, that kind of stuff, how we do explicit model type of gradients that you need in optimizers. Other than that, most of the flurry of stuff has been kind of cleaning up functors and optimizers, making sure that optimizers will support mutation when it's possible, without needing to have an entire duplicate set of rules for
And also
for a
having
type.
immutable API, right? Where you
Right, immutable
explicit
API.
state, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, separately from whether we can mutate the state or mutate the gradients itself is function.
Yeah, so that's very cool.
Okay.
As
Okay, thank you, guys.
I mean, you can check out the pull request site. There's been like 10, 12 PRs merged in the last 5 days.
Yeah, in fact, I couldn't
but
keep
actually,
up with.
yeah, here the code frequency, you can see this spike. So yeah, maybe we'll hear
So,
more
but-
in the next
So
meeting.
there is a solution which to the shared weights problem.
I think there's.
Yeah, there's
I haven't followed the super closely, but yeah, okay, probably.
yeah, there's a couple different solutions. Right now, we're just trying to see which one is the easiest to implement
Okay.
and the one that makes most sense. Moving forward, I mean, the two main solutions that I know of right now are, one is in that state structure that gets spit out by optimizers to store basically information that tells you if a certain node is a shared node in the tree of the model. It'll tell you where the original node came from and then what was applied to the sharing. And so that's one solution that we have right now. The other solution is basically have functors be able to walk multiple trees. And that there, we already know how to do that. The hard part is figuring out all the edge cases when trees have missing branches and stuff like that. But if functors can walk multiple trees, you could also pass in trees that information like the tying relationships or which nodes are supposed to be frozen, things like that. That one is, I guess, a little bit complicated to get right. But that one is probably more flexible for the long term because it'll support more than just tied weights or freezing. Could support other kinds of transformations you want to do to the model that requires auxiliary information. Like Brian said, we're just in the testing phase right now, trying to figure out which one's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all the updates I have on optimizers and functors. Oh, there's also a bunch of new types of models in Metalhead added as well. Thanks to a new contributor that's been adding a bunch of stuff like MobileNet and ResNext and things like that.
Is he training the models?
Oh no,
mean,
No, I
it's
don't
just
think they have the weights. No.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I don't mean like updating weights somewhere, but I mean, is he trying to like train the model and report an accuracy score so that, I mean, we can check if those
that's
implementation are,
correct.
yeah.
I guess
Yeah, I
it
mean, without
would be
training,
nice to have a small but realistic use case, like throwing it onto ImageNet, like the small 10 class ImageNet version that's also used in the FastAI.jl tutorials.
Yeah, tiny image. Yeah.
But then you still need like a GPU and 15 minutes at least.
yeah, I mean, that would probably need to be separate from the normal CI, but that would be a good thing to add to Metalhead just so we can verify models.
Yeah.
I mean, short of training, we can
Yeah,
check whether they're correct.
Of course, we need a lot of infrastructure, but no, yeah, I was just checking if he's doing this locally on his computer. So that's,
Oh,
Yeah, I think doing it
Yeah, I
locally
mean,
is the first step.
and
test
makes
that
sense.
the test that
Yeah,
we
we've-
do run on Metalhead will make sure that, you know, forwards, backwards, past, that kind of thing works, but accuracy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we're also planning on adding a bunch more models with the same guy. Yeah, we basically come up with a plan to add, a couple more standard models to Metalhead, and then move on to some larger use cases, some transformer-related models that we can, certainly use. I think he has access to. I don't think he has access to GPUs, but he has access to some resources to make sure that we can do the forward pass and backwards pass. Which reminds me, Metalhead actually doesn't test the backwards pass, I don't think.
Not sure, but
No,
definitely better infrastructure, but also local testing as a first step, and actually training. So not just to see that it works and compiles on GPU, but also that the model doesn't have any obvious flaws or bugs.
Yeah, that you reach within, a few epochs, reasonable accuracy.
Yeah.
Just lean check.
Okay, cool. Are there any other topics or questions? Okay, then I think we can call it for today. Thanks everyone for coming, and see you in 2 weeks.